Greetings, dear beautiful spirit soul that you are. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Of course, the word day is daze, hypnotic trance, confusion. Most people go through the day confused. Called it a daze. Here's my topic. The cause of suffering. The cause of suffering. And I'll tell you, the major cause of suffering is our attachments. What are we? My attachments of how everything's supposed to be. How you're supposed to be. How I'm supposed to be. All these concepts that we have. And this is the mind always works on two sides of the coin. Heads or tails. And heads and tails are two sides of the same coin that never see each other, but they're both dependent on the other. And there's attachment and detachment. And our nature is to be attached because we need a shelter of some kind, because we are part of the divine. We're not all by ourselves, you see. We're already unified. We can acknowledge it or not acknowledge it. And when people do not acknowledge who they are, then they're looking for shelter, something to protect them, money, things, stuff, people, events, whatever. So always looking for shelter, for protection, and for maintenance, you see, to maintain the body. If you take a look at most everything you do is all about the body. It's taking care of the body. And then it's also trying to get as much pleasure out of the body, and that's what, it's not even pleasure, but experiences from the body. And that's why that, if you don't really know that, the person gets so attached to their bodily comforts. I remember back many years ago when I was starting to get old, in the sense of attitude, because it's a mood. It's always a mood. And you getting old is a mood. And you can say little people, little short people, they can be really old too, because they've got old ideas, or they're curmudgeons. And you see, like, a lot of times when people criticize older people, seniors, for us, because they get very fixed in their ways, and they have certain rituals that they go through that they're very addicted to, that they have decided they have to have in order to be comfortable or happy or have whatever they need. And so this is always how people sell things. They take a thing, it's always about money. It's about selling stuff. It's about buying stuff. And keeping that whole so-called economy going. Econ. And it's another con. See, it's another con. And when we own ourselves, is that we get attached, but be attached to the divine, your beloved. And when you get attached to everything and everybody else outside of you, then you're in a constant state of stress in case what you're attached to isn't there, or goes away, or it's threatened in some way. And so this is what you might say media does, is it keeps people in a state of fear. This could happen, showing you pictures. Snuff films are always going on these, the news and everything, showing people dying here and their tragedy and hit by a car. All of this stuff, the fascination people have with death, because it's been so programmed in. And they say, oh, somebody died and went to God. You're already with God. You're the divine. And you cannot die. And if we're so attached to everything being exactly the way we want it, we limit ourselves grossly, because we're not open to the adventure and open to go with the flow. And when you start to notice what causes you upset are your attachments, because then we have our shelter, what we believe is maintaining us or protecting us, caring for us, doing it for us, whatever it may be. and that we get attached to, and everything being in the same place, or all of these. And take a look at how maniacal the brain is. Not the brain, the mind. And so then we're always defending and promoting what we're attached to, and you get so much of all of the narratives and the stories that are going on outside in the world to upset you, to get you tense, to get you afraid, to get you interested. Back then that you click bait, so that you go back and you click on that on the internet again. And it's always distractions. And then everybody's so hard, just trying to survive, trying to make it, trying to look good, trying to be okay. And, I wish, if we ever wish we had something a long time ago, which was really knowledge of who we are. And then all of the so-called mistakes we make, and also those kind of errors that we've made in judgment and such, is because we have a poor fund of knowledge. We didn't have this knowledge of who we are, because it wasn't being taught anywhere. And then when it was being taught, it was ridiculed. Oh, big time. Oh no, you're an idiot. It's not this way. Yes, don't look over here. Don't look over there, because you don't want to look over there, because then you'll know who you are, you see. So take a look at the cause of suffering are our attachments, and even the attachment to the body. And that doesn't mean you're not going to take care of your body, but are you taking care of your soul? Are you taking care of you, your eternal self? Do you know how to manifest? Do you know how this life works out here? Do you know who you are? Do you know what your powers are? And do you? Well, that's what you want to know. And that is available, and there's instructions, and that's why I love it, that when you study. I'm a spiritual sleuth, a researcher, so I've studied, read my bio on my website. That isn't even all or part of what I've done in my life, and anybody could, because of inquisitiveness and because of the desire to do that. And I remember when I was in seminary, all they talked about were just the men being out there as ministers. Well, I knew being in a woman's body, what difference did it make? I had my work to do. You see, you have your work to do. And you don't let anybody or anything talk you out of who you are and what your work is. You want more of that. And the more knowledge you have of yourself, the more you're detached from all the sources of suffering. Because you're not letting anyone or anything in the outside jerk you around and determine how you're going to feel, determine what you're going to do, determine your attitude, or anything else like that. And one of the things, you have to be willing to live without agreement from others, and live without appreciation. Because some of the very people that you care about, or you really want to help or work with in some level, they really don't want that, because they have everything set up the way they want it to be set up. And yeah, they're suffering, and they believe in all the other stuff. They go along with it to get along. And they really don't want what you have to. Don't give it to them. Use it yourself. And that is the key. This is such profound knowledge. It is the greatest work in the world. The greatest teaching that is possible is the liberation of the self, of the soul, and to full activation, realization of who you are. And you could be that anywhere. In your little corner, out in the woods, in the big building if you want to be, here or there, because you are the party going somewhere to happen. You are a home entertainment center. You are fully operational in all qualities and abilities. You have to detach from everything you've been taught in any kind of institutional organization, challenge it, question it. And how you could tell if it's true or not, is that pertain to everyone? Good for all? Is it good for all and beneficial always? And if not, something's wrong with that. It isn't truth, because truth is good for all. And I mean it, not when I mean good for all, period. And that's the way it is. Detach from what causes the suffering. Let it go. and attached to the truth within you. And then wherever you walk is holy ground because you're there.